unapologetic, unadulterated, and uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the super fortress of intelligent black thought. This is the BlackChannel.net radio program, and I am, of course, your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Somewhere out here in the wild blue yonder, doing that which I do, bringing comfort to the afflicted and affliction to the comfortable. It is a full-time job, and of course we are in overtime as we're doing this. A lot of things on my mind here tonight. I don't want to take up too much time because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But of course, the world right now, or at least black people in the world right now, are talking about something I want to bring into proper relief, into proper focus. Now, the owner of the Houston Texans football team, Bob McNair, he made a statement that it was necessary for the league to take action to try to quell these protests over the national anthem because, quote, you don't want the inmates running the prison. That's made a lot of people's ears go up on that statement there on a number of different levels. The first is that the saying isn't the inmates running the prison. The saying is the inmates running the asylum. That's the proper statement. Some people will try to claim Freudian slip. I don't know about that. That seems like a hell of a slip right there. That seems like a slip that you just keep sliding straight down the street. The other thing is, taking it as face value, there's really no good way to mean that, to be totally honest with you. The inmates running the prison. The inmates running the asylum. So the NFL athletes are inmates. This sounds like that Donald Sterling talk. That the athletes are inmates, and the NFL is at best an asylum, and at worst is a prison. Now, a lot of folk got upset about this, but I have to tell you, as is consistent here at the Black Channel and is as consistent with myself, my reaction is a lot different from a lot of other people out there. I spoke about this, I posted about this online, and I made it very clear, as I always have. When Donald Sterling did it, I didn't get upset. I thanked him. I thanked him for being an honest white supremacist. You see, when you enter adulthood, I like my white supremacy raw. I don't want any people faking and pretending to be something that they're not. I don't consider it to be more honorable to have a smiling racist than a scowling one. One could be seen more as a threat than the other, but I guess that depends on your definition of threat. But I prefer my racists straight up, no chaser. I prefer my racists saying exactly what they think and exactly what they feel straight out. So I know who to avoid and on what level to deal with them on. So I actually prefer that. I don't like my white supremacists sauteed and sugar-coated and smothered in sauce. I don't like that. Just yank them straight out the river or the sewer, wherever you might find them from, and just throw them on the plate raw, like sushi. I prefer that. Now, most black people don't. Most black people prefer a liar. Most black people prefer their white supremacists looking something more like Bill and Hillary Clinton. They prefer their white supremacists to come slumming for some slum sex because your standards are just so pathetically low. You prefer your white supremacists to come slumming and come play the saxophone at your house and dance the Dougie and do the wobble with you. Ain't that right, Roland Martin? You prefer a white liar as opposed to an honest white person. I'd rather just have honesty. I'm too old to be dealing with a bunch of people running around telling a bunch of fibs. I'd rather just have the honesty straight up because I can handle it. I can deal with it. There is no component of rejection by white society that sends me running and scrambling for cover. I don't look for acceptance, therefore I don't fear rejection. And let's just be totally honest, as Dr. Claude Anderson has pointed out so many times before, black people as a group have made zero, nada, absolutely no progress whatsoever in society, in America at all, other than socially. Our ability to socialize and mingle with white people. But economically, we are still segregated. Education, we are still segregated. In media, we're still segregated. In the courts, it's an apartheid police state in the court system. There is no integration, and there has been no black progress except socially. But as far as how far ahead of us white people were 150 years ago, they are still the exact same distance ahead of us today. The exact same distance. There's been no ground closed. It's the same thing. And black people would prefer that. We would prefer to have people sitting up here lying to us because you see, what that would do is hand us the convenient fallacy and the convenient fable that we really have made progress and we can just sit down now. Black folk are always trying to figure out a way to walk off the field early. You haven't won the game, you haven't made the touchdown, but you're ready to walk off the field. And we're looking for someone to tell us that it's okay and we can go ahead and walk off the field now. That's what we're looking for. And we're not accepting that that is not what we can have. We can't have a situation where we can get off the field. We are going to have to deal with the socioeconomic hand-to-hand combat of dealing with white supremacy, blow for blow, sword for sword where we find it. But first of all, you gotta know and be able to identify your adversary. And if you are insisting that white people lie to you about what they really think and what they really feel, and worst of all, this is the thing that scares you most, about what they really want. See, that's the part that scares black people. They don't really want white people to tell them what they really want. Because you see, you know what it is. This is where we get down into the nitty gritty over it. You know exactly what it is they want. And that is why you insist that they lie to you. Because you're terrified to death of what the truth actually is. So you want a situation where they can lie to you so that you can continue lying to yourself, so that you don't have to face the real reality. You know that they want what they've got, a system of white supremacy. You know that what they want is to be able to take you or leave you, preferably leave you. You know what they want is an all-white NFL, even if the black athletes are what they are 10 times better than the white ones. You know what they want. Your white supremacist girlfriend really wants a white man, but she'll settle for your slappy, crusty, dusty ass if she does not have a white alternative. You know what they really want. So you spend all day trying to pressure, beg, plead, bogart, picket, protest, and everything else to try to get a lie shoved down your throat. But I'm not interested in that. Because you see, your concern is that you are afraid that what they'll tell you is that they don't want you. And then you'll have to wake up tomorrow and compile a worldview that is independent of them. And you are terrified to death of that possibility. You see, when a nigga knows, I said it the way I meant it. When the nigga knows that he can get white folk to build a house for him, he can just be the consumer. He then tells his family that he is not accountable if they do not have a house. He gets himself and say, well, you see, the white folks haven't built us one. So that's why we don't have it. So you gotta look at them. Don't look at me. They built a house for themselves. They could have built one for us too. So I'm gonna see what I can do to get them to build one for us. You see, when you keep shifting responsibility and shifting power to someone else, what you're attempting to do is take it away from yourself. So that your woman and your children and your society are not looking at you and saying, where's the independent plan? That's what it's all about. It is about making sure that you are not accountable and you are not responsible. And we would prefer that even if it means impoverishment. That is preferable to taking on accountability and responsibility in their minds. Is preferable in their minds. Not in mine. Not in mine at all. But in their minds, it is. So when I start talking like this, it scares them. It scares the average black person because they want a way back where they were. You like to tell yourself that the days of Harriet Tubman, when she said she could have freed thousands more black people if she could have convinced them they were slaves, you like to tell yourself those days are dead and gone. You like to tell yourself those days are over. But the truth is, we didn't make any progress. Mentally and psychologically, black people are where they always have been. You got black people and then you got coon culture. And the coon culture is alive and well and kicking. And it led us to where we are right now. A situation where you've got some of us who are saying we need to look to self, and then you've got the rest who are saying, but I can't get a pat on the head from Miss Ann if we do's that. They are here to support and to toe the white supremacist line in their stead. And so this is where we are. So as a group, black people would prefer if we were able to keep doing that as a group. Now, there was a so-called White Lives Matter rally in Murfreesboro, Tennessee today. And they were out there, and of course, it was the usual nonsense. It didn't take them very long before they got to what they wanted. They had the American swastika, the Confederate battle flag. They had the German swastika, the swastika. They had them all on display. They had those black crosses, those black X's turned sideways that they had in Charlottesville. They had their shields. They had their riot gear. I mean, they were out there just like they were in Charlottesville. They did not even allow the blood to dry on the pavement in Charlottesville before they were back again. And as I said to you all then, this was the first open, blatant attempt by a sitting president and sitting Americans to attempt to mainstream white supremacist extremism and to mainstream and normalize white supremacist thought. To say that that's just a part of the right wing. They're very fine people. So you see, no, they have to be shameless. They have to show up all the time. And you can keep telling yourself, well, there were more people who were against them who showed up at the rally. That's the problem. You're counting people in the streets. You're not counting the people at your job. You're not counting the people at the courthouse. You're not counting any of those people. The people who matter elected Donald Trump and support these guys, or at least they don't oppose them. The people who matter. So I was sitting here watching some of these things, and of course, among other ridiculous nonsense, other ridiculous grievances, there were individuals who were out there trying to say that their problem at the rally, they were trying to say at this White Lives Matter rally that how come there's no White History Month? If black people can say nigger, there's no reason we shouldn't be. Why is it we can't say nigger too? Why do we have to get in trouble? These were people at the podium speaking, saying that. Why is it I can get in trouble for saying nigger but black people don't? These are the things they were saying. Now, here's the issue. Did you realize there that this is a White Lives Matter rally? And the first thing they stop doing is talking about white people. You have a White Lives Matter rally. Why are you not talking about white people? Why are you not talking about the systematic brutalization of white people by the black system? Why are you not talking about the black supremacist judges railroading white people into prison by the millions? You see, if you had real complaints and real grievances, it would sound like that. Their complaints and their grievances are not about what they have lost. Their complaints and their grievances are about we are losing the ability to brutalize and oppress black people. How come there's no White History Month? You do have White History Month. January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Truth be told, February also. But you do have White History Month. You damn sure do. At Black Lives Matter rallies, we say stop the police from killing us. At White Lives Matter rallies, it's why is it that we don't get to impose our will more? Why is it that we can't say nigger? You never went to a Black Lives Matter rally, a black protest, and heard black people say, our grievance is what can we say? What epithets can we say about white people? You've never heard us say that. Because that would be outrageously childish and ridiculous. But once again, it brings us back to what I was saying before. I prefer my white supremacy honest. And they need to go a little bit further and just say that our grievance is that we do not have the ability to oppress black people. We want to be able to call you nigger. We want to be able to say that every month is White History Month. We want the ability to glorify slavers and rapists and pedophiles and colonizers and lynchers and murderers. We want to have a month where we can glorify the most heinous criminals and killers in American history. You see, if you were straight up honest about it, you would say that. See, when Donald Trump said that, I just let it fly because I said, you know what? He's being honest. He said, if you take down the statues of Robert E. Lee, what's next? George Washington and Thomas Jefferson? Because, you know, they were very little different. They were the same as Robert Lee. They were slaveholders too. Yeah, you see, this is the truth coming out. This is when their back is to the wall. When you really do ask them, would you really defend a rapist and a slaver? Their answer is yes. Yes, because you see, your enslavement and your raping and your brutalization and the murder of you and your ancestors, that was just the cost of me having a better life. That was just the cost of doing business. Got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, man. As long as they're all your eggs and not mine. You see, we got to break your eggs to make an omelet. You're not allowed to touch my eggs to make that omelet. We're only going to touch yours. I have said it to you all before, and I will repeat it to you here tonight on this program, because you have not heard it in other places, and you will not hear it anywhere else but here. I have explained to you before, what is the point of racism? What is the point of white supremacy? What is its goal? What does it truly want at the end of the day? And at the end of the day, what it wants is very simply this. It is here to determine who will eat the finest cuts, who will eat the best, and who will eat the scraps or not at all. That is what white supremacy is all about. That is what it has always been about. White supremacy is and has always been about determining who will eat the scraps and who will not. That's it. That's what it was always for. To figure out who was going to do it and who wasn't. And once they had control of things, they said, okay, somebody's going to have to eat well and somebody's going to have to do without. And if someone's going to have to do without, it damn sure ain't going to be us. And there you have it. So when you hear the owner of the Houston Texans say, can't have the inmates running the prison, and when you hear Donald Trump saying, well, if you get rid of Robert Lee, you got to get rid of George Washington too. And when you hear the guys at the White Lives Matter rally say, why is there no White History Month? And why can't we call you nigger? What's wrong with us doing that? They're being honest with you. And you need to learn to appreciate honesty and teach your children not to like a racist, but to appreciate when a racist is just being honest with you and isn't lying. Then it makes it a hell of a lot easier to recognize it. The game plan remains the same, but this idea that your job is to prevent them from speaking honestly, oh, absolutely not. Bring out your Confederate flags, bring out your swastikas, come to your rallies, stand up loud and proud. Let the world know exactly what you believe, where you are, and where you stand. That's what we need. We need white supremacy, full-flavored and honest. Now, one more thing I want to touch on here is about this Houston Texans situation. Now, let me tell you how power would work. If black people understood power, which we don't, but if we did, there's a way that power would work here. What would happen is all the players on the Houston Texans team would go to Bob McNair and say that your statement was absolutely unacceptable, and we are all going to refuse to play tomorrow, Sunday. We're all going to refuse to play. Well, you see, you good little darkies, I go out here and apologizes because it's just a big old misunderstandings. And the players should tell him, no, there is no misunderstanding. We don't expect you to do anything except one thing. We demand that you give a contract to Colin Kaepernick and hire him on this team. You see, if you were to think about what that would do, if the Houston Texans players use this as their moment, don't sit here and ask the NFL to choose what his punishment should be. That's weak. You don't go to other people and say that the punishment will come from Goodell or the executive committee. That's not the way power works. The way power works is when you tell the person that the incentive not to mess up and the deterrent, it doesn't come from Goodell. It doesn't come from the executive committee. Damn sure doesn't come from the owners. It's going to come from me. The deterrent against you doing something like this, the punishment against you, isn't going to come from the other rich white men in the room. The punishment comes from me. It comes from the men in this room. It comes from us. When you start saying that we are going to dictate to you what your punishment will be, now you've got power. Now people will look at you differently. And there is one other thing I want you all to understand about this. Now, there's a bunch of jigaboon niggas, and we got so many. But there's a bunch of jigaboon niggas out there who tell themselves, well, Jason Black, you and the rest of them there, y'all just gonna make troubles now. Y'all just gonna make troubles. It ain't right there. Y'all's gonna make troubles now. The ratings is gonna go down, so we's gonna lose money, and we's gonna lose money. You know what the crazy thing is? When baseball had their strike, I think baseball lost a season? Didn't correct me if I'm wrong. It was Major League. Don't correct me if I'm wrong because I don't really give a damn. But I believe it was 20 years ago that Major League Baseball missed a whole season or part of a season or most of the whole damn season. You didn't hear any of the white folk sitting up there saying that Major League Baseball was done. There were some people who were upset, and I think professional wrestling's ratings spiked during this time. But you didn't see white people, the white players and whatnot, talking about we got to get back out there and play because we ain't going to make no monies if we don't go back out there and plays. You see, when you went into their field, they said, no, we ain't backing down on nothing. We're going to do it our way. But when it comes to Negroes, you got to understand they got baby mamas to support. They got bastard baby-making women who gave birth to them that they haven't cut the umbilical cord from. So you see, when hoes run your life, You start thinking like a hoe. And you see, a hoe, if the money on the street starts dipping low, she starts doing more tricks and bringing her price down. Next thing you know, $1,000 a night hoe is a $10 hoe. All of a sudden. This is what happens when hoes are your strategists. When you let the hoes and sluts in your life be your strategists, this is how your strategy starts turning. You don't deal with anything from a position of strength. You're sitting up here letting other people determine how you eat and if you eat. But if you were to get together and say, divided we're weak, but together we run things, and just tell them that we as the players are declaring that NFL Sunday is off this week. It's over. And you know what the audience will do? The audience will do what they always frickin' do. They will whine, they will moan, they will complain, and they will sit there and they will take it and they will take it until you have got this situation worked out to your advantage. And once that's all done, they will come back and they will sit their asses down and they will pay $1,000 a season or whatever the price is for season tickets now. That's what will happen. The only folk who are sitting up here begging and sacrificing their dignity are Negroes. But these people are going to do what they have always done, and they will continue to do that, whether you show up this season or not. The only people playing this game is somehow we have to dance to the tune, or somehow, some way we're going to wind up losing something. It's the folk who have the most to lose and the least to gain. They've already got you undignified. They're already telling you that you have to dance to their tune. And let me tell you something else. These owners will not respect you until you show them that you are willing to shove them back. See, this is like, it's not like dealing with a bully. That's not what it's like dealing with. It is like dealing with someone who is looking for a trainer or somebody who is looking for a sparring partner. You see, fighters don't respect people who lay on the floor and curl up in the fetal position. Fighters respect somebody that when you hit him, he hits you back harder. And even if you sock him in the jaw, it don't even faze him. He's right back on your ass. He's sitting up here swinging and laying it into you. After you do that for a little while, people respect you. They adjust their attitude towards you. You see, before now, you were their punching bag. But when they encounter you from here on in, now that they know that not only are you capable of knocking them on their ass, you're also willing to do it. The owners are not going to respect black men until we show them that we're willing to pull the trigger. When we show them that we really will do it and we will shut your season down. You ain't going to shut nothing down. We're going to shut it down. When we show them that we will do that, then the white league officials, the white league executives, the white owners, the white fans, the white media, and everyone else, they will respect us. You see, the Arabs did the oil embargo back in the 70s, and out of that came white people's respect for them, that they really will do something about you. And after 9/11, white folk were upset, but they had the Arabs had their respect because they knew they really would do something. Black people have taught everyone else on earth that it is okay to disrespect us. That's what we've taught them. We've taught them that disrespecting us is acceptable. We've taught them that brutalizing and abusing us is acceptable. And then we're upset when they continue to brutalize us and abuse us. We're surprised that we can't impose the love of Jesus on them and get them to stop doing that. Because they don't respect you. Power does not respect weakness. Power only respects power. And that which power does not respect, it abuses, it brutalizes, and then it discards it or utterly destroys it. But it does not keep it in its presence, and it damn sure doesn't give it any protection or benefits. You are not going to get what you ask for. You're not going to get what you beg for. You are going to get what you demand and what you take. Dr. John Henry Clarke said it so eloquently that it simply cannot be approved upon. He said that black people do not understand how power works, and white people have not taught you that. Because if black people actually understood what power was and how it worked, then the first thing we would understand is that you would stop asking for power. You would simply take it. Because that is the method in which power works. Power doesn't come through prayer. Power doesn't come through begging. Power doesn't come through appealing to people's moral conscience. Power doesn't come by telling people how badly you're hurting under their abuse. Power comes from you setting the rules. And right now, the overwhelming amount of weakness that we are experiencing here is only going to embolden them in the future. The fact that they are dropping numerically means that now they have to turn the white supremacy up if they're going to rule as a minority. Right now they're the majority, but they're getting ready to become the minority, and they have to be set a landscape where you just accept that they rule as the minority. And when they were the majority, they told you that the majority of your movie actors and comic books and league officials and team owners, that the majority of them were white because, well, white people are the majority of the society. And once they become the minority in the society, they're going to just shift it over to, well, we had it when we were the majority and we've kind of just been grandfathered in. And so you just need to get used to being at the bottom of the damn pile. And that is exactly where we will remain until we're eventually annihilated, unless we do something different. Now, the talk I'm giving you tonight here, this is way different from most black folk. Most black folk don't understand it. Most black folk don't get it. Most black people are terrified of it. Because what I'm telling you right now doesn't make you eligible for any more benefits. It doesn't make you eligible to swirl. It doesn't make you eligible to get any pats on the head or get that job in human resources that you've been waiting on for years and years. What I'm talking about doesn't make you eligible for that. What I'm talking about simply makes you eligible to A, have your dignity, and B, be free. And most black people do not actually want freedom. They want acceptance. And they call that free. They simply want to be acknowledged by massa, and they will call that free. Who cares if you have no dignity? Because most black people's definition of dignity does not include freedom or liberty. Most black people's definition of freedom doesn't include that. Most black people's definition of dignity is totally divorced from the idea of being empowered or self-determinant. Most black people's definition of dignity can go right along with ghetto gaggers, Uncle Remus, and Amos and Andy. You have plenty of black folk who tell you that that's free too. That having a house of your own on land of your own, that's free. And being Mr. Charlie's slave in the slave quarters, well, that's free too. There are plenty of black folk who will tell you that. They won't say it just like that. Just start asking them about the independent thing and how dedicated to that they are. And then all of a sudden you start hearing them start backtracking, and then you start hearing their feet shuffling, and here comes the buck dancing. So yeah, this kind of talk is scary to them. Damn scary. And that's why you have the Black Channel. Without us, it simply wouldn't get done. I'm planning on going to some more places here. There's a lot that's being put together. A lot has already been done. is a groundbreaking project that I'm working on at this time. Right now, this project that I'm working on called Race War is intended to be moving at a level that's nothing we've ever done before and nothing you've ever seen before. So just understand, I'm hard at work on that. It is coming together. I would like to tell you a little bit more, but there's going to be a lot to do. This project is going to be bigger than anything I've ever done before. It's going to have more people in it than I've ever had before. It's going to have more important people in it than I've ever had before. This is going to be going at a level you simply have not seen. So be on the lookout. More information is coming for it. And I'm just kind of chomping at the bit. I'm just really kind of eager to say more, but this isn't something I can tell you. It's something I simply can show you. And I hope that I have all your support as this comes out. If you have not been by our website, blackchannelfilms.com, that is blackchannelfilms.com, you want to check out our documentaries, 7 a.m. and Gentrified. Because of a rash of orders that we received in September, it wiped out our inventory of 7 a.m. So we're currently getting that replenished. Please do give us your patience. I very much appreciate that until we get those back in stock here. So I do appreciate your patience in the meantime. But definitely go by our website, blackchannelfilms.com. Be a part of it. Get yours today. We're going into the holiday season, so if you have a coon relative or a white supremacist neighbor, you definitely want to bring them over for a viewing of Gentrified at your home. Sit them down, and then when it's over there, ask them, so what do you think we should do about this? Sit them down so they can watch Gentrified, ethnic cleansing American style. And when it's over, ask them, so what do you think we can do about this? And then wait for their honest answer. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the BlackChannel.net radio program. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.